I have to make sure there's room here because I'm going to be posting shit. Pasting. Posting? Oh hi! Welcome back to in this one I'm going to talk about 5 foreign horror movies you may like maybe. So this list, before we get started, this list is not like going indie crazy when it comes to horror movies. I am saying like, hey, are you new to horror? Here's some easy to get a hold of horror movies that I think you may like if you want to be introduced to the genre. Basically, I'm not going to start somebody off if they're like, oh, I kind of want to get into some foreign horror, or I've been kind of thinking about it, you know. I'm not going to start you off on the guinea pig series. No. Especially if you get queasy easily. Like, I'm not going to hand you a Serbian film and be like, have fun, watch it with the family. You know, like, I'm not going to do that. So don't think that this list is that. It's also not my top 5 favorite horror movies that are foreign, because I don't really have a top 5. These are ones that are just, I feel, would be enjoyable to everybody involved, if that's what they're into. If they're a bit gorier, I will, of course, tell you. If there's some kind of sensitive material, I'll tell you that too. I mean, it's horror. Duh. But there is one where it is kind of sensitive, and, you know, I'll give you the old heads up for it. So, let's go! Yes. The first one that we have is Chronos. I would suggest Chronos because it's an earlier film by a very well-known director now, Guillermo del Toro. We know him from the Hellboy movies and also Pacific Rim, which was an amazing movie. I know a lot of people hated that one, but oh, I loved it so much. Anywho, Chronos is a Spanish film dealing with vampires, but it is not the vampires that we have come to know and hate today. This is eternal life in its darkest form. And it is so beautifully crafted, so well written, so well directed, and so well acted that you will start to feel for all characters, the good and the bad, because you can feel the desperation in all of them. And once again, in true Del Toro style, you will watch the movie to the end and feel, oh, okay, end of the movie, story wraps up, cool. And then you'll think about it and go, God damn it. Because Del Toro is the master of God damn it. The second one that I want to talk about is a really awesome film called Night Watch. It is a Russian film, and it's actually based off a book series. I believe there's 3 books in the series. But the movie that I think most of us have come to know and love is Night Watch. It is a movie that takes place in present-day Moscow, and what it is about are 2 factions, the dark and the light, and they're called Others. And what their job is, you follow the Night Watch, which are day Others that keep the night Others in check. And a lot of night Others, vampires. The story is quite sci-fi based, a bit futuristic, but very modern day, grungy, dark toned film. And you get to know Anton, the main character, and you both come to like and dislike him, but you can see that he's trying just to do what he feels is the right thing to do, and sometimes the right thing to do goes against the beliefs of his faction. So this movie also is beautifully done because the subtitles in this movie are integrated into the film, so they're not just laid over and letting you know what they're saying. They will appear in the film, and if a character were to move, the subtitles would move too. I will check for you and put it just like a little subtitle. In the bottom, there is a release of the movie where the subtitles do not do this, and in all honesty, I feel like it takes away a piece of this movie if the subtitles are not integrated. So I will hopefully find the information for you and let you know if you are interested in watching this movie to make sure you watch that one with the integrated subtitles. So the third film that I want to talk about is an Italian film, but it was done in English. However, it is the European view of the American zombie, and that film is Zombie. Also known as Zombie 2, it was known as the unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead, the original, I want to say. Yes, it was the unofficial sequel to Dawn of the Dead. This movie is iconic in zombie culture. Is that a thing? Zombies have a culture. They're people too. They were at one point anyway. So this is a European take on the zombie, and I feel like there's been so many American zombie films. It's always fun to see. I am itchy. Why am I itchy? Because of pollen. There's so much pollen. There have been so many American zombie films, and I like them for the most part. But it's fun to see another viewpoint on a zombie and kind of like the level of ridiculousness. Ridiculousness? That's a word and a show. Anyway, the level of just absurdity that zombies will make people think of. And this one is no exception. In this movie, and usually the selling point for this one, I will say you will see a zombie fighting a shark. You will see the ever famous scene of a zombie reaching through a wall and pulling a woman's head towards a wooden stake until it penetrates her eyeball. We've all seen that scene, I think, and a lot of people don't know what movie it's from. It's that one. And then also you will see the beloved photo of the decomposing corpse rising out of the ground covered in maggots as it's falling out of his eye sockets. It is a fun film. It's slow in the beginning, but it's fun and absurd and ridiculous. And you kind of don't care about it in the beginning, but in the middle and end, you are about it. And you have a new love of zombies. So yes, Zombie or Zombie 2, however you want to know it as, definitely one that you should see. The next one I want to talk about is probably one of my favorite ghost stories. And nobody does a ghost story, I feel personally, like the Asian horror market. Asian horror does supernatural ghost stories in a way that I still haven't found anything that's better. However, if you can suggest one to me that I should try out that's not of Asian origin, then please let me know. Because I want to see it, most likely, if I haven't already. So the next one I want to talk about is Shudder, the original version from Thailand. This movie is a ghost story with such substance. This is the movie that you want the ghost, the spirit, to get her revenge. You want that for her. And it starts out with a really nice couple. They're a young couple, and he's a photographer, and all of a sudden he starts noticing these ghostly figures coming up in his photos. And then you start learning more about him and more about his past and more about what he's done and what he's been involved in. And all the pieces come together, and you find yourself in the end feeling very different from how you usually do when it comes to a typical ghost story. It is, the ending of this film is probably one of my favorites. It's creepy. This is one of those films where it will stay with you. So if you watch it at night and then you're walking down like a dark hallway in your house ready to go to bed or whatever, you might be a little bit faster than you normally are getting to the safety of your room. Because there's something about this movie where it sticks, and I love that it does. One of my favorites. Definitely if you're looking for a good ghost story, Shudder, the original version, is the one that you want to watch. So the last but not least, the fifth movie that I want to talk about is one that is a little bit out there. It's for the person who is looking for more of the strange side of foreign horror, and this film is from Japan, and it is called Tokyo Gore Police. It is probably one of my favorite absurd Japanese horror movies because it is funny, gross, absurd, and just plain weird. And I love it. I love everything about it. This is the movie where if someone's asking for a bit more that we haven't seen quite yet in the American market, I will tell them, go see Tokyo Gore Police. It's one that I feel is a good segue into the more strange side of just horror in general, if that's what you kind of want to go for. If you're a little bored of the everyday horror that's been coming out that you've seen, and you're looking for something that you don't see promoted a lot, I would definitely say this movie is the right one for you. We follow Ruka, who is a police detective in a future set Tokyo, where the police have been privatized, and her father has been killed, and she's on a hunt to know why. Now, this future society of Tokyo is extremely self-destructive. They really embrace self-mutilation and every kind of destructive behavior, so this is my heads up with the movie. If you're really not about watching that, and if it's something that really bothers you, don't watch this movie, and maybe watch Machine Girl or maybe Meatball Machine, which is, they're in the line of like just the weird horror movies from Japan. But this society really embraces self-mutilation and just everything wrong with, you know, every self-destructive behavior, and adverts are actually directed towards that. So, I'm sorry if you can don't feel my phone vibrating, that's weird. Can you hear it though? So this movie is definitely one that I would direct someone to who I know can handle that, or is okay with seeing that, but also just wants to laugh as well. Because, while it's extremely gory, there's a virus going around, or a bug, or something, a infection going around, where if you were to lose a body part grievously, or have something very much damaged, you will grow it back in a mutated form. And it could also be metal, like a weapon. And I kind of just wish that happened in real life, because who doesn't need a katana every now and again? I mean, really. Anyway, I feel like I've ranted on about this movie enough. But definitely you'll have a new respect and a new love of brothels, and you will definitely think twice about using public restrooms if you were to watch Tokyo Gore Police. Okay, so that's my 5 movie list of horror that are foreign that you will probably like, maybe. So yeah, once again, this wasn't my top 5 favorites, and it wasn't my best of foreign horror. These are movies that I feel are easily attainable. They are good segues into the genre of foreign horror, or horror alone, really. and I think it kind of covers a good general base. Like I said, if you're looking like, oh, gross me out, and I know the worst thing you've seen is Saw, I'm not gonna throw, you know, the guinea pig series at you, like I said. I feel like there needs to be some things in between, you know, before you go from like 0 to 100 and then exploded. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button down below and maybe even the subscribe button as well, so we could do this finger motion together as I talk and stuff. Don't forget to comment as well. Let me know if you've seen any of these movies, if you like any of these movies, if you feel like there's another movie that's a great introduction to horror. And don't forget to check me out on Etsy, Instagram, and Facebook at Grotesca Media. I will have the links all down below. Thank you again, and I will see you next time. Okay, bye.